Oh, just a second.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the FPL Banger Show. My name is Siva. I'm joined by Sam. Euro 2024, Sam. Euro Fantasy Match Day 1. This is the real thing now, right?
Yeah. FPL was just a warm-up for this, right? So this is the real highlight of the year, Euro Fantasy. What all serious FPL players been waiting for.
Yeah, I don't get the sentiment. I see a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm so tired from FPL. I need a break. I won't play Euro Fantasy." You're just missing out, mate. This is the game.
You don't hear footballers saying, "I'm so tired of football. I'm gonna sit out the Euros," unless you're Ben White, you know.
Brother needs a tan, my friend. Don't hate. But speaking of Ben White, I think that leads us nicely into the format. I think very briefly, shall we just explain for those who are playing for the first time, right? Who haven't done this before. Would you like me to just quickly go over the chips and the rules?
Go for it, Siva.
Okay, so Euro Fantasy, pretty similar to FPL, some slight differences. There isn't a bonus point system. Instead, there's a Man of the Match award where you get extra points. The Man of the Match award is famously very questionable. It's given based sometimes on performance, sometimes on rep. So sometimes it's...
If I'm not mistaken, sorry, Siva, but cut in. They don't award it. They just give it to whoever was the official Man of the Match winner. Yeah. So
yeah. So that can be quite sus. It's very eye testy sort of, and it's how people who played FPL a long time ago will remember. It's how it used to be back in those days.
Back in the day, back in my days, it used to be days with no bonus point.
Betraying how old we may be. So that's the one slight difference. The other difference, of course, is you get extra points for goals outside the box, regardless of position, which is nice. You also get points for penalties won rather than penalties scored. So it doesn't really matter the penalties missed, which is also quite nice.
Yeah. As in, you get for penalties won, you don't get for an assist, right? So unlike in FPL,
not as a penalty,
you get the assist if you win a pen only if they score. Here, if you win a pen, you get points regardless whether they scored or not. So it's a big boost, I think.
Yeah, so a few quirks, but by and large, it's fairly similar. In terms of the actual strategy with chips in the game, because it's really short.
One more thing, you didn't mention about interceptions or recoveries. Yeah, very important.
Yeah, so DMs are actually kind of viable in this game. People like Rodri and Kimmich are sort of actually usable in this game, where they wouldn't be perhaps in a normal fantasy game.
Yeah, so three ball recoveries equals to 1 point. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so players who makes lots of tackles, DMs, and fullbacks maybe who are very involved, who makes a lot of tackles, center backs, who you want the more aggressive center back rather than the one who sits back. The more interceptions, the better. Interceptions / tackle. I don't know. How did they even categorize recoveries?
I don't know, man. Yeah. So it's good in the sense that, for instance, a player in FPL who might get penalized for taking a lot of shots because that's bad for bonus wouldn't have the same concern here. It doesn't really matter. So a couple of nice things. In terms of chips, and I will sort of briefly cover this. You got two main chips. You got Limitless and Wildcard. Wildcard does what it says. You know what it is. But Limitless is free hit with no financial limits. You can go above the budget. What's interesting about structure is that you will get free transfers in the first knockout round regardless. And so the question really for you is whether you use all your chips in the first 3 matches, which some people do, or you save one for the quarterfinals, because let's say you get it wrong completely in the round of 16 and then you have no players left for the quarterfinals, which happened to me the last time when the Netherlands got knocked out in the round of 16 against Czech Republic. So it can happen, but it's a balance.
Yeah, I think the general consensus is to use up your chips by the round. I mean, latest during the round of 16, and saving it beyond that a bit pointless, or wouldn't say pointless, but you're not maximizing the potential of your chips. So try to use it earlier in the in the I don't know, is this the season? I guess, yeah, in the tournament, early in the tournament.
Chip strategy actually informs a lot about the kind of selections we're going to talk about now, because some people have already committed to say Limitless match day 2 and Wildcard in match day 3. So therefore, you get 3 free hits basically, because you get to pick a free hit team for this week, match day 1, a free hit team for match day 2, and a free hit team for match day 3. So that's that's
really
taking the strategy. Yeah, and it's not as crazy as it sounds. I mean, people who win this game tend to do that strategy, but you got to get it right. I'm more tempted to do the limitless on match day 3 and just pick a team for the first 2 weeks, because you kind of have, I would say, a lot of teams with good fixtures for the first 2. What are you leaning towards to?
I haven't thought about it, Siva. But most
surprising
likely, if I because it's really similar to UCL Champions League Fantasy, so I tend to use one in the group stage and one in round 16. So probably we'll go with the same strategy. Whether it's limitless in match day 3 or maybe a wild card and then limitless in the round 16, because sometimes the better teams go through, you want more expensive players, so you want a bigger budget to free hit them in during the round of 16. But we'll see. But either way, that one you don't really have to decide now. You can decide it on match day 3 itself.
Yeah, I think what is most likely going to happen is you will have, at least like I do, a very clear defined plan for the first 2 weeks. And then after the first round of games, everything goes wrong. And then you end up just using all chips anyway in the first 3 weeks. And then by quarterfinals, you quit the game when you have no players left. That's how it usually goes. With that in mind, shall we get stuck into the positions?
We ain't quitters, Siva. Have we ever quit a fantasy season halfway? Never. We stick through to the end, even if our overall is trash.
Hey, I mean, there are some podcasts who like to talk about overalls. There are some who like to talk about stats. We're here to talk about pain. We're in it for, the love of the game.
For the pain.
Yeah.
The love of the pain of the game.
True words have not been spoken. Let's talk position, Sam. Shall we start off with keepers?
All right.
The most boring position. I mean,
so how are we gonna do this, Siva? We're gonna keep us in price ranges and then move like that, or just general?
I mean, if you have to discuss price ranges, who's spending that much on a keeper? That's my first question.
Yeah. I guess there'll be advice number 1, maybe don't spend so much on keepers. Oh, one thing we didn't mention, Siva, for those who don't know, you can sub in players, which is a big deal, very, very big deal in this format. So what you can do is have 2 keepers who plays on different days. Play the earlier one, the keeper with the earlier fixture first. If he doesn't get a clean sheet, sub him out for the next one. So you essentially got 2 choices. Double the chance of getting a clean sheet. Don't need to spend so much on it. Plus, expensive keepers tend to, they only get clean sheets, no saves, no whatever else. Especially because, there's no bonus either, nothing. So I would spend maximum of 5 mil on a keeper. And even then, I'm like, do I really need to spend 5 mil?
Yeah, to that point, it's pretty important then, because you sub out based on match day. Well, days within a match day. Very confusing terminology here. And so it becomes really important to make sure keeper doesn't play on the same day as some other guy. You've got to have basically a full playing squad and guys who play on different days, which means a lot of looking at the calendar.
A bit more planning involved compared to normal FPL.
Way more. This is FPL for sickos, basically.
Yeah, I mean, if you're really, really into it, you could make sure you have a captain who plays on a potential captainable player who plays on every single day, so that you can keep moving your captain around. And but inevitably you would have a player who scored like 8 points and you captain him. You're like, could I get more than 8 points? And then and get someone who gets like 1 or 2 points or something. Happens to everyone. But anyway, it's a game, let's go to keeper.
Yeah, it's definitely a game that.
Yeah, Siva, go ahead.
It's a game that will punish you, because you've got to make judgment calls almost every day of the tournament. So it's quite painful. But yeah, to keepers, Sam, I think this is really easy, right? You mentioned 5 being the limit. I see at 5, probably you're looking at Costa from Portugal, Pickford, England. I myself don't see the need to spend that much. I'm quite happy with the 4.5 keepers. You've got Verbruggen for Netherlands and Lunin for Ukraine. And I think those will be my 2.
Interesting. Verbruggen is a good pick. I think he was in my team, especially after their manager came out publicly in the press conference and said he will be number 1. So you have that rotation risk off. Yeah, I have right now Costa because I wanted Portuguese defense, but I had no space among my defenders. Plus, their defenders didn't really appeal to me so much. And then I went for a budget 4.0 keeper. So in the end, we are spending the same amount. We're both spending 9. Horațiu Moldovan, Romanian keeper, probably the only starting 4.0 keeper in the game. So it's a tip for you guys who want to be cheap. Moldovan, probably the only starting 4.0 keeper.
Oh, there's one more. Stanek from Czech Republic is also starting and is also 4 mil.
Okay.
But obviously pays Portugal on match day 1, so not ideal.
Yep. And yeah, I have some stats here somewhere. Let me find it.
I need to hear the stats on Romania's first choice keeper. This is what I'm here for.
Oh no, I don't have it. Sorry. Oh wait, no,
I'm really surprised.
Okay, Moldovan kept 5 clean sheets in the qualifiers, which is the second highest. So the keeper that kept the most clean sheets in the qualifiers. Of course, I don't know how much can you read into the qualifiers, the Euro qualifiers
That
to the
took
actual
place
Euros.
2 years ago, yeah.
Versus, but that's all we get, right? I mean, what else can we use? So the team that kept the most clean sheets was Portugal, 6, Diogo Costa. And then second is a draw. It's like 5 teams here: France, Greece, Romania, Finland, Croatia, Slovakia. So 6 teams who kept 5 clean sheets. But Moldova is one of them. So I don't know. That's good enough for me, man. 4.0. I'm taking him.
It's not a bad shot. I think coming back to Costa, perhaps why Costa hasn't featured in any of my drafts is because I really want Portuguese outfielders. So perhaps you can sell me as we move on to the next positions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why is Diego Costa in your team ahead of, I'm assuming, Cancelo?
Too expensive.
6 mil, man. It's not that bad.
I don't know. I'm kind of, yeah. We'll get there. We'll get there, I guess. So is that for keepers?
Yeah. Let's get there now because I think
a lot of people have Pickford. I don't know about Pickford. Would you get Pickford? No.
Before the tournament, perhaps, but now that we know, what is it? No Luke Shaw, no Maguire, probably no John Stones. He's got an illness, and they're playing against Mitrovic. You know Mitrovic is scoring, right? They probably beat Serbia, but I'm sure Mitrovic is scoring. So
Yeah.
I think no, not keen.
Okay. So moving on to defenders then.
Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't say Lunin, Sam. But I mean.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he was in my original draft. Then I found Moldovan and I was like, oh, I could save 0.5. Get on my team.
I suppose you're expecting Romania Ukraine to be a 0-0, which is.
I'm not expecting much, but yeah. He plays before Costa, Moldovan, so I'm just going to chuck him in, and if he doesn't, then Costa comes in.
That's a good point, actually, because Portugal play on the last day, right, of the match day. So yeah, that's a solid point. I think that's fair.
Okay.
No love for maybe Koen Casteels, Belgium?
Oh, I have some love, I think, but I don't know. Belgium,
they have a really easy group.
They do have a really easy group.
Slovakia, Romania, Ukraine.
The defense, though, they seem a more top-heavy team, I think. It feels like it to me. I'm not an expert on international football and their form, how many clean sheets they've been keeping and stuff like that. But, on paper, it looks more top-heavy. So yeah, I mean, I look at all the five keepers, and Costa looks like he gives the best value. He still makes saves, high saves percentage, a team who is defensively kind of solid. So yeah.
All right, fair. But let's go into defenders and let's kind of revisit your Cancelo thing, right? Because your pink Costa had a Cancelo. I have Cancelo. He's been in almost all my drafts. So why? I mean, I'm assuming you spend all the money elsewhere, but 6 mil surely isn't that much considering Cancelo. Again, it's João Cancelo, right? Best attacking fullback, one of the best attacking fullbacks in the world. This is a game where you're trying to chase that mega haul anyway. Guaranteed to start left should be playing on the left. I think Dalot plays on the right.
Mm-hmm. I just feel I don't know. I just don't want to spend 6 mil. Just purely feel that he's really expensive. Although if
All right,
I
fair
were to pick a Portuguese defender, it would be Cancelo. Yeah.
Okay.
I think if you were to pick one, it's worth paying the premium and going all the way up. No point getting the more so-called budget options from Portugal.
Yeah, is what I would say. I think because the only other one I'm confident who's starting is Diaz. I feel like Dalot is good, but Semedo does seem to get some game time for some reason. So I'm a little concerned about that. And I don't know who the second centre back is.
Yeah, I think it's worth noting that the games are really close together. So for teams where I feel personally that there isn't a big drop off between the two options, you can expect some rotation. Whereas like Cancelo has his, the drop off between him and who's the next player. I don't even know who's his backup. But yeah, so big drop off. I don't think they will, rest him unless they win the first 2 games and they don't need to win the last one. But that's a match day 3 problem.
So far.
So if you want match day 1, match day 2, I think if you're preparing a team for 2 weeks, it's worth maybe getting some security, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. It's okay. You're not sold on Cancelo. But
no, I am. I just feel like it's really expensive. I just can't afford it in my team. If I can find a way to squeeze out more budget here and there, then yeah.
So if you can't afford 6 mil Cancelo, I'm guessing you definitely can't afford Van Dijk, who scored in his last games.
I have Dumfries.
Dumfries is not nailed, mate. I mean, that is really high risk, surely.
Okay. So are you? Is it because you think that Frimpong's gonna play?
No, it's because I don't know who's gonna play. I think that's my bigger issue.
So here's the thing, right? I think I could be wrong again. It's not like we watch every single international friendly and stuff, but it seems like manager prefers playing Frimpong more as a right winger. Dumfries is more right back or right wing back, whatever you want to call it. His competition is Luxariel Geshueda. I don't know if I pronounced that right. But, yeah, but drop off in quality quite big. I think Denzel Dumfries probably first choice right back. Frimpong, I feel, is more a rotational risk because he's not the first choice right winger. He will be competing. So he did start the last friendly, if I'm not mistaken. Scott, right? No,
that's 2 friendlies ago.
Yeah, okay. I don't know. They're putting like friendlies like every few days, and everyone's getting injured. Players are dropping like flies. But yeah. Also, Denzel Dumfries has the most assists out of all the fullbacks in qualifying. So Dumfries, I like Dumfries.
I like Dumfries too. I mean, Dumfries has always been my Euro fantasy guy. Like, I always had him. World Cup fantasy, Euro fantasy. You always have Denzel Dumfries. I guess Frimpong probably is not favored. I think that much you can tell. He's not Coman's favorite. In fact, a lot of people thought Coman wouldn't pick him to begin with. In the last friendly, Dumfries started.
Last friendly, Dumfries started right back. The one where Frimpong started, he played as right wing. That's what got everyone excited, like, ooh, in our position. But he's clearly picked not as the first choice right winger, as a backup, second choice right wing. So
yeah,
I'm not so
it's hard to say. Yeah, Xavi Simons played right wing in the last friendly, and Frimpong was on the bench. It's tricky. I don't mind the Dumfries pick because Netherlands play on day, what is it, day 2? Day 2? Yeah, day 3.
16, yeah. No, 16 is
day 3. No, day 3 because Germany is on its own within a single day.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay.
Yeah, time difference really messes up for us here because it's quite late for us. But yeah. So yeah, Netherlands on day 3. So you've got, I suppose this is one of the benefits of this game, right? You can theoretically take some risks, and even if the guy doesn't play, you've got substitutions. So it's not such a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Dumfries. Okay. Italy, Di Marco, I think would be the best choice out of the Italian defense if you're keen on Italy. Personally, I don't think their squad is very strong. I don't think they'll go far this Euros. But if you were to pick one, I guess it has to be DiMarco.
Decimated by injury, I think the centre backs, that's their big issue. But nevertheless, I mean, they play Albania in match day 1, and surely they got to keep it clean against Albania, no?
Yeah. I don't know.
Albania's
I don't know. Don't say surely.
Albania's main striker is Broha, who hasn't scored for in England for 1.5 years and hasn't scored for Albania in 2 years. So I mean, should be.
Oh yeah,
I think DiMarco's a fairly good pick.
Speaking of injuries, one thing that puts me off Holland's defense is the fact that they have like no midfielders right now. Because
they have got midfielders, mate. You just don't know who they are.
No, a lot of them got injured. Seriously, I know who they are. They don't have a DM because they didn't call out Max Weaver because he's injured. Frankie De Jong got injured, and a few others, if I'm not mistaken. They called up Ian Madsen to replace, but he's not even a midfielder. So they really have a bit of a midfield crisis right now. So I do expect them to leak some goals. But I guess if you're getting Dumfries or Frimpong, if you're taking the risk or whatever, you're expecting more attacking returns than clean sheets.
And what's your plan for match day 2? Because Dumfries does play France. Haven't thought that far ahead, have you?
Haven't thought that far ahead. But also, you do get free transfers every week, for those of you who do not know. So you can transfer your player out.
All right, fair. Okay. So let's talk the rest of the defense. Who else are you looking at as we come down from 5.5s, right?
Actually, Theo Hernandez. I have Theo Hernandez. I think best option for the France team.
Did walk out of training today with a knock, so something to monitor.
Yeah. I think a lot of monitoring to be done until the start because everyone, like I said earlier, seems to be getting injured. But if fit, I like Theo. Very attacking. Other than that, I don't know, England defenders, or are you still not keen on any of them, Siva?
No. I mean, for the same reasons I'm not keen on Pickford, I'm not keen on England defenders. I see Trent being very popular because the expectation is he starts in midfield against Serbia. That's interesting, I would say. 5.5 or so. But if I don't think they're going to keep a clean sheet, then it's a bit of a stretch to go for Trent, I think.
Going further down, 5s.
5 mil. I mean, DiMarco is the one I like. I know you're not too keen.
Yeah.
But I like DiMarco. I think attacking wing back obviously won't be playing as advanced for Italy as he does for Inter, but still I think very good. Below that, there are a lot of interesting 4.5s. And I think budget is not a concern here. Because at 4.5 mil, you have Maxime de Kuiper from Belgium.
I like that choice a lot. He is first choice because Castagne is injured.
No, not Castagne. Arthur Teat.
Oh yeah, sorry. I think everyone.
Castagne is
too many names to remember. But yeah. So very attacking as well. Although he is quite young.
Yeah, and a bit of a minutes risk. So if you want a safe option, Wout Faes, who played every minute in qualifying and is boring and cheap and 4 mil. Centre back, but still.
Yeah. I hear you. Let's see.
Germany.
I have Milos Kerkez.
Hungarian Bournemouth fullback. I like it.
Very attacking. Very good for Hungary in the qualifiers actually. And I was listening to a few podcasts, non-FPL podcasts, but just like football Euro podcasts, and a lot of them seem to think that Hungary will do very well. One of those teams that if you don't keep out international football, you wouldn't know that they've actually been pretty good recently. So I think a lot of people who play this game, they probably don't realize it. But Hungary has been really good. So I like him. Kerkez has also done pretty well in the qualifiers. Let me find out his stats here. Okay.
Kerkez is interesting because obviously Hungary plays Switzerland on day 1, right? So that's a very nice fixture because this Switzerland team looks very weak. We're talking about not following international football. Yeah, I mean, they're still playing Shaqiri, and Shaqiri is 32, 33. I don't mind it. Milos Kerkez is interesting. You don't have the most popular pick, Sam. The 4 million German wingback.
Max. What's his full name?
Maximilian Mittelstadt. Oh, we're gonna ruin all these names. Yeah, Mittelstadt. How do you not have him?
I don't know. I just don't like it that everyone has him.
20%, mate, which is not that high, all things considered. I mean, everyone who
It's just everyone on FPL Twitter has him, I guess.
Yeah, everyone on FPL Twitter has him. You gotta have him. He's left back for Germany, very attacking, and Scotland have no right backs. They don't have Patterson. They don't have Aaron Hickey. They're playing some no names from the Scottish League. Um, they have a horrible defense. You gotta go at this guy.
And I think Robertson is injured as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Uh,
Although the other wing, but it still affects everything.
The psychology.
But inevitable Scott McTominay goal coming.
I don't think it's that inevitable, but sure.
Hey, Scott McTominay is the 5th highest goal scorer in the qualifiers.
How do you feel about clean sheets in this game? Because I've had a few centre backs in my draft, and then I keep taking them out, thinking you got to be more exciting. You can't be so boring by having centre backs like Jonathan Tah 4.5, Ilya Zabani Ukraine 4.5, but Gehi, a lot of people have Gehi. But are you not being bold enough? In a short game?
I don't know. I think the fact that there's no bonus kind of brings down the appeal, because if you just keep a clean sheet, it's just 5 points, I guess. 5 points, 6 points, whatever it is. Unless they're very involved, they're the type who makes a lot of interceptions, tackles, then you can rack up on the ball recovery points, right? But as for me,
True.
I think every single defender in my team are wing backs or full backs. Have 0 center backs here. Yeah, it's going on attacking. Although there's only like 3 group games, man. I mean, how many? If a fullback makes 2 assists the entire tournament, you could call it a good tournament. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
We didn't mention one key favorite, Sam. Joachim Mahler. Has the
really expensive this year, right? Don't you think so?
The people who set up this game clearly know their fantasy stuff, man. 5.5 million for a Danish defender is surprising.
Really expensive. By the way, doesn't Raum play in the same position as Max? David Raum?
He does, but Max is first choice. It has been first choice for a while.
Not to say for a while.
Since Nagelsmann has been around.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's coming back to my point that like one bad game and or if he needs a rest, the second game Raum comes in, because the drop off in quality probably isn't that much. Raum is also a good player.
True, but I think Nagelsmann's been fairly consistent with his lineups. I have looked at it, and
but again, I'm more worried about the short turnover between games. So it's more to keep players fresh and things like that. So I guess with the exception of Dumfries, I don't know. I'm trying to pick players who I feel are so-called like undroppable for their team. Yeah. Anyway, there's something to consider if you want.
Fair. All right, but you're mostly on the 5 wingback strategy. I think that much you're sold on, right?
Oh yeah, you could get the other Bournemouth wingback, Zabarni. And get both.
Zabarni's not wingback. Zabarni's a center back.
Yeah, but you could give the 2 Bournemouth double game week legends can return to your team.
Yeah, Zabarni already used up his goal allowance for this season. I do like. It's a pity that Mikolenko is 5 mil.
Oh, you got cut off a bit. Sorry, see what you were saying. Michael 5 mil.
Yeah, Michael 5 mil. Just a bit too much for a Ukrainian defender. I like the other wing back though. I'm gonna again mess up this name. Yukim Konoplia, who's got it. I remember he had a really good game against England a few months back, and that's where I've sort of followed him from there.
Interesting.
A goal and two assists during qualifying. I think Ukraine's first 2 fixtures, if you're on the Limitless 3 strat, Ukraine play Romania and I want to say Slovakia in the first 2.
Although they did not really do that well in the qualifying. In fact, I think they had to come in via, I don't know what you call it, playoffs or whatever you want to call it. Like they didn't qualify directly. Although, a lot of circumstances in the past few years for them. external.
Yeah.
So they have narrative behind them. I'll give you that.
Yeah, narrative.
So I
Narrative plays
feel
big
like
field.
there's a minor competition here between us to name players who the other person has not heard of. We're purposely throwing in names.
We'll be here all day, mate. We didn't mention any Spanish defender, and is that just because of fixtures?
I don't know. I feel their first game is tough, right? Their first game is
Croatia.
against Croatia, so it seems tough. But again,
Second game, Italy.
So tough group, I guess. But among the defenders, none of them really stand out to me as well.
Grimaldo is the standout, but he's not nailed, and that's the problem. Because for some reason, they like playing Cucurella. I don't understand why.
Man, he just seem to like playing Cucurella everywhere he go, and no one understands why, right? So you got Grimaldo versus Cucurella. Both could start equally, I think. In the centre back, Laporte, you got Robin Lenormand, who has been starting a lot of games as well. Nacho also. Jesus Navas is in the team at 38 years old. Like, what? But basically, I don't know. I'm looking at the list and it doesn't really interest me so much. I remember having Danny Carvajal in the last game, but he's much older now. Can he play so many games in such a short turnaround? I don't know. So I just couldn't find anyone that appealed to me.
Yeah, fair.
Now that you mention it, Siva, I don't have any Spanish players in my team.
Yeah, it's purely that Croatia fixture, which I don't know whether we're reading too much into it, because ultimately Croatia are a bunch of senior citizens, and Spain ought to smash them. But
that's true.
Yeah. Okay, let's move into midfield. Let's kind of crack on here. Midfield's really tough. I think this is probably one of the hardest positions to pick, and you got to pick 5 guys, and I'm struggling to pick more than one.
Really?
Yeah.
I got too many options.
Okay, you help me out, Sam, because I the only one I've kept in all my drafts is Bruno, and I'll be honest, it's more to do with with rep
Bruno
rather
has to be
than
there, right? Bruno has to be there. I think for everyone else, he has, because even in qualifying, even in every friendly, he's creating chances non-stop, assists non-stop, goals non-stop. He's nailed. Bruno has to be in everyone's team. As boring as that would be, So Bruno in. De Bruyne, I don't know. Again, I'm worried about the short turnaround. He's shown, this year with Man City that he doesn't really have the fitness to play games so close to each other. Can he do it in the Euros? I'm not really convinced as well. I think when he does play, he'll probably do well. But first game, he'll probably play, right? That's for sure. Second game, I don't know. Maybe he might play first 2 and rest the third. Who knows, right? That's the tough one.
He's expensive. I think that's the big issue.
Yeah, he's also expensive. You don't like Foden? You don't like any England players, is it, Siva?
I don't know. Okay, so England is really hard, right? How much? Definitely the last friendly, I think, is creeping into my mind far more than it should, right? Because up to that point, England looked really good for this tournament. It's still a really easy group. Serbia have kept, I think, 4 clean sheets in their last 15. Basically, Serbia can't defend, which is everyone accepts that. So England ought to be very good. I don't know about Foden, and I don't know whether you take Foden over Saka. Saka's not really played much in the last few weeks.
But I think
Bellingham?
Saka, if fully fit, will be undisputed right wing.
Yeah,
like
that I have no. Yeah,
for England, and he's cheaper than Foden at 0.5, and he has done well. Like throughout the years, even during qualifying, he has 4 goals, 3 assists in the qualifiers. So I will go Saka as my. If I had to pick one England midfielder, it would be Saka.
but you gotta have fitness concerns, right? About Saka, he's not played. He's only played 20 minutes in the friendlies. He didn't play, I think, from back to game week 37 of FPL. So he's been out for a long time. And they've got depth, so they don't have to force him on. Like they could play Palmer, Gordon. They've got other guys. So Foden's probably the safest pick, although he feels like a lot for a team that. I mean, especially if you're going to go Kane, do you really want Foden as well? I think that's the big question.
Okay, moving on. I think Trossard is a good pick. He's I think under the radar a lot for a lot of people. But Trossard, yeah.
I like Trossard. Bad on eye test. I think if people watch games tell you he's a bad pick, but he scores. Like he just gets the goal.
There's a good
So,
what do you call it, like minutes played goals ratio.
Yeah, exactly. Very good for those who don't want to watch games. I like Trossard. Only 8 mil midfielder in the game, weirdly.
Yeah,
but I like him.
Yeah, that's a good catch. Words, I quite highly picked, 38% in the game. Foreign words.
I think second highest, yeah. Second or third highest, yeah.
Second highest midfielder, yes.
Exactly.
Highest player in the game is Mbappe with like 70% or some ridiculous kind of thing. Makes me want to not have Mbappe on my team.
The typical Sam moment.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Words. I mean, I like Words. He's a great player, but on the German stage, I mean, in the international team, I don't think he's as influential as he's allowed to be in Leverkusen. Like in Leverkusen, everything flows through Words. In the Germany team, I don't know. I haven't really been watching a lot of games, but I don't think it doesn't function the same way as Leverkusen can expect the club form to translate internationally straight away. I would rather actually have Gundo in my team.
Wirtz, Musiala, Gundo, I think is the starting. They are the starting sort of nailed guys to start. But the issue is that Wirtz is typically more likely than not going to be subbed off at 70 minutes. They've got a lot of depth. Musiala is more expensive, right? Musiala is, I think, what, 8.5?
Yeah, exactly.
Gundo is nailed to start and is on pens, but Gundo's he's quite deep. So bad on eye test, but if you ignore that, then he's fine.
But remember this whole... I feel I'm having deja vu with this whole Gundo plays too deep to be scoring this much.
Throwback for those who remember. Yeah, but I mean, Gundo's on pens, right? That's why we're interested in Gundo. And it's Germany, and it gives you a captaincy option in the match day one, which you're kind of excited about. Although you could probably captain Mittelstadt if you have the cojones, I suppose.
Yep. Moving on. I'll give you a good name, who I'm very, very happy to have in my team. Dominik Szoboszlai.
Oh, I love that name. Yeah.
Sobo, 4 goals, 5 assists in qualifiers. Very, very instrumental for his team. Everything flows through him. Nailed 7.0 against Switzerland in the first day. Sobo.
Yeah. A lot of 7 mil talisman, right? So you got Sobo. I think Sobo's a no-brainer pick. But then you also got Christian Eriksen, 7 mil on pens, and you've got let's see if we can do this.
So old, I don't think he's gonna play every single game.
Nah, my brother's come back from near death, mate. He's playing. You don't need to worry about that. And you also got Kvaratskhelia, right?
Kvaradona.
Yeah, Kvaradona. So Kvaradona, talisman again, 7 mil. Are you willing to pay 7 mil for somebody who plays for Georgia, though? I think that's the bigger question.
Yeah, that's the hard part. There's also Pedri, who is also 7 mil, who I think scored in the last international and the last friendly, or is it 2 friendlies?
2 goals.
Yeah.
No, in the last one. 2 goals in the last friendly.
2 goals. And Pedri is the type of player I feel will give you not only goal assist potential, but also a lot of recoveries. Yeah. And I think Neil, like Spain.
Oh, definitely Neil. Yeah.
Loves him. If he, will run him to the ground until he dies.
Yeah.
So Pedri,
Nico Williams.
Nico's not nailed though, but if he plays, very good. No, I don't think so.
I think him and Lamine Yamal will play.
Yamal will play. He plays left. No, isn't Nico on the left? Okay.
Nah, he can play left, mate. He'll play left.
I don't know. Spain has a lot of options up front, I feel. At the wingers. As striker, they only have Morata, but and Joselu. But in the wingers, they have a lot of players. I kind of like Yamal. I wish he was, a midfielder, but
yeah, sad.
And then Pedri, I think Pedri's a good sleeper pick as well. Who else do we got? Rodri, if you want to go for a lot of ball recoveries route and occasional. I don't know if he does the same thing for Spain as he does for City, but occasional big game goals here and there, long range, which you get extra points.
Apparently on pens.
Okay then.
From my research, which is I found quite surprising. Again, so tough fixtures, but 6.5 mil Rodri, who's going to get all the recoveries you want. Very tempting.
Scott McTominay. No. Scotland, talisman, top scorer for Scotland. Everything goes through. I wouldn't say goes through him, but it's all action. A lot of recoveries as well, probably. Gets up. I would honestly would not be surprised if he pops into a goal, like a few goals before they get knocked out in the group stage.
Yeah. I mean, they have nobody else, so yeah, that's not the worst shot, I don't think.
7 goals and 1 assist in the qualifying, by the way. For Scotland coming in.
That's crazy, right?
I'm not joking when I say he could be a proper pick. There's a 6.5 midfielder. Everyone's sleeping on him.
But he's not in your team, is he?
He was actually in all my drafts until I realized I have so many players who play on the same day. Because I have a lot of Hungary players, I have German players, and then they're all in the same group. So that's just too much. I need to spread it out. So I had to sacrifice McTominay for Sobo. I kept Sobo. Yeah. Austria also been very strong since Ralf Rangnick has took over. Sleeper pick, I think a lot of people didn't realize. So you have Sabitzer, who, again, a sleeper pick, no one knows, but he's been doing really well. Here, 4 goals, 2 assists in the qualifiers. And just been really, really influential for the side. Kind of like in the Champions League where no one realized, but he finished as the top assist. He probably the most assists in Champions League this season.
I did not know that.
Yeah, see, somehow anyone just forgets that Sabitzer exists.
Yeah, probably on pens as well, I think, Sabitzer.
But if you're not too keen on Sabitzer, there's also Christoph
Baumgartner,
who plays a little bit more attacking. He's a bit more like flashy, more flary, I guess. So a lot of people are more drawn towards him. But Sabitzer has been more of the workhorse and, quietly providing the assists and the goals here and there.
You're missing out some key players, Sam, as we wrap up midfielders. I'm surprised you haven't
even gone further down, man.
No, but even at 6.5, you're missing out 2. Actually, even at 7, you've missed out Mikhailo Mudryk.
Yeah.
So you got to park all your FPL biases because this is Euros. It's different.
Does he do well for Ukraine? I don't know.
He doesn't do too badly. I mean, he's a fairly nailed attacker for Ukraine. But the one I'm really excited about is Georgi Sudakov. So a 6.5 midfielder. 2 goals, assists in their last friendly. Tipped to be the next big Shakhtar star that everyone's going to spend a lot of money on and then sell on loan in a year. And again, we've talked about Ukraine's fixtures. Very good. Most importantly, when people were posting about him on Euro Fantasy this week, he replied to their posts. with like the emoji of like, okay, I'm getting ready to work like that. Yeah. So yeah, right. I respect that.
Okay. Anyone else in this price range? I don't really see anyone else. That's about it.
You could go down really cheap. So 5.5, I think I like Højbjerg, who's playing a bit more advanced for Denmark.
Doesn't even play for the club, man. But yeah.
You can't, club football is not relevant here, mate.
That's true.
That's
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. The only thing is Højbjerg's got tough fixtures, I think.
Yeah. I think if you were to go down, I would go all the way down to 5. And there is one pick who stands out in the price range, Adam Serin of Slovenia.
Not the name I was expecting, but okay.
Huh? No? You're not thinking of him? Have you not heard of him?
I have, but why do you tell the people about Adam Serin?
Obviously, I did not do this research myself, but people who have done this research on FPL Twitter have said that, he's the main corner free kick taker of the team at 5.0.
Okay.
What more can you ask? He's nailed. He takes free kicks. He takes corners.
So a popular pick that people have at that price range is Jorginho, but he's apparently been taken off penalties, or at least the coach has said he's not taking another one because he keeps missing them. So that kind of negates his fantasy value, I would say.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Adam Serene has 1 goal and 3 assists in the qualifiers, by the way. At 5.0. Nailed. Played all 900 minutes.
I guess
think
if you
at
just need
5.0, nailed is pretty much it's pretty good already,
Yeah, I guess if you just want to enable like a top-heavy backline and the most expensive attacking unit, then yeah, Serene makes perfect sense.
Yep. But that's it, I guess. For me, if you're gonna go budget, that's 5.0, that's him, that's Jorginho. And then above that, you have to go all the way up already to like 6.5, I think, in my opinion.
I mean, I think 5.5 Højbjerg and Zinchenko are fine, but probably not worth the additional over somebody like Serene. I think that's the thing.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Last position.
Forwards. Okay, this is easy, right? There's only 4 guys.
Really?
There's only 4.
Okay. Hit me with the 4, Siva.
You've got Kai Havertz. Oh, it's really cheap, I would say. Like ridiculously cheap considering his form at 7.5 mil. You got Harry Kane. Best season of his career, surprisingly. Of course, in a farmers league, but we still don't hate on that. 11 mil. You've got Mbappe, 11 mil with stupidly high ownership.
77%. I'm looking at it now. It's insane.
Bunch of
I'm serious, Siva. I'm not gonna pick Mbappe. I'm gonna take him off my team right now.
I mean, it's really boring, I must say. 77% ownership, and of course, the legend.
I'll give you a trivia, Siva. According to Opta, Mbappe has never scored in an Euros before. The last Euro France played, he scored 0 goals, missed the pen in the 16 or whatever it is. He has never scored in the Euros before.
That's fair because he didn't score on the last one and he didn't play in 2016, so he was too young. All right, interesting. That was the Pi 8 Euros. Okay, good knowledge, Sam. Not relevant, but still.
Hey, who knows? He's due a goal.
Of course, the fourth guy, right? So you got Kane, Havertz, Mbappe. It's got to be Ronaldo, who I was very annoyed has popped back up in the recent friendly, and so everyone knows about him because they'd all forgotten, right? Because they don't watch the Saudi Pro League, unlike you and me, Sam. We're always into Al Ettifaq against.
If you really, really watch the Saudi Pro League, there will be another name on your list. It should be Mitrovic.
Yes, Alexander Mitrovic.
Extremely, how many goals did he get? I can't remember, but something ridiculous, like 30 goals in 29 games or 28 games or something like that.
Just behind Ronaldo.
Yeah, I was listening to a podcast about it, and he plays with SMS in
Milinkovic Savic.
So maybe they have been treating the entire season as like a warm up, like getting their chemistry going, just for the Euros.
Yeah,
Mitrovic can close his eyes and make a run, and he knows SMS is gonna send the ball to him, kind of thing. Telepathic.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, a lot of these Saudi guys, we're going to rubbish their league, but they'll be coming here fully rested, really relaxed. All the Prem players will have run themselves into the ground. Look at Saka, look at Foden. Whereas guys like Ronaldo have just had 18 months to work on their tan and stat pad against a bunch of people who, a bunch of League One players. So I like Ronaldo. In fact, I think Ronaldo's kind of essential.
I'll give you another name, Siva. A name very close to Manchester United fans. Rasmus Højlund, who is nailed for Denmark, if you fancy Denmark's chances. And he finished with 7 goals in the qualifying, 5th highest, level with Scott McTominay, 2 United players. But yeah, nailed for Denmark, main striker. I think a sleeper pick, maybe.
It's not a bad shot. I mean, 7 goals in 8 games with qualifiers is pretty good. And they've got a really good first fixture. And if we don't rate England's defense, then they've got 2 good fixtures, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Other than that, though, I don't know. I feel no one is considering Morata, but Morata tends to do well every international tournament. Despite us not wanting him to, like, he just tends to keep scoring for Spain. What can we say?
Yeah, but tough fixtures, right? I mean, that's kind of the same reason why we were debating defenders and Pedri and so on.
Yeah. But you see, tough fixtures does not necessarily mean it's tough to score. Just could be, they could concede, but at the same time score.
I'm
Plus,
surprised you don't have I'm surprised you don't have the top scorer from La Liga in your consideration. Do you know who it is?
Who finished top scorer? Artem Dovbyk. Did he finish as top scorer this year?
Yeah, he did 24 goals, 8 assists.
I'm
Artem.
really, really upset that Spain didn't call up Alex Garcia in their team. Also very good for Girona.
Moving to Leverkusen, apparently.
Yeah. Anyway, there's non-Euro related topics.
But why not? I mean, in the same way I've been picking up. Yeah.
If I had more forward slots, I would.
So okay, then let's wrap it up. Top 3 forwards, or at least what's your forward line right now?
Lukaku.
Oh, yeah, we didn't even mention that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Lukaku actually is probably the best forward in the game. He's coming in the most form, actually in the best form of all the forwards. Has been scoring non-stop. He scored 14 goals in the qualifying, by the way. He finished as qualifying top scorer, ahead of Ronaldo with 10. And 9. He deserves to be like 10 or 10.5 or something. And 9 mil, main striker, nil for Belgium. So he has, I think he's the number one, the serious number one pick.
Yeah.
So I got Lukaku. I have Havertz. I had Mbappe, but he's about to leave to be someone else.
Purely based on ownership.
Yeah. Maybe Kane, I guess. I didn't want Kane in because it's kind of boring, but now Mbappe seems like it's even more boring. So we'll see. But yeah.
Yeah, I think Mbappe is actually worth dropping simply because they have really tough fixtures.
And he never scored in Euros before, So
so you mentioned.
Yeah, with Mbappe, or with Kane, for example, you could, it could be a fallacy. Some people will call it a fallacy, but you could say like, okay, I have some coverage. I don't have Kane. I can't fit it in my team, but I can get Foden. I can get Saka maybe. But with France, right, I'm not really sure if every other position is really nailed. So Mbappe is nailed, that's for sure. Will Giroud start every game as a striker? I'm not sure. Will right wing be Ousmane Dembele? Will it be Randall Kolo Muani? Will it be, there's just so much possibilities in the team. Like everyone is so strong. The drop off between each position is like non-existent. They could fill a whole team and a B team and a C team and send all 3 to Euros, I think, and all 3 might have a chance to win it. So that's the hard part I feel about France. Mbappe is the only really nailed player in the team.
Yeah, but that's a coverage point, right? So you're not surely you're not gonna care too much about coverage, are you, sir?
Yeah, I don't know. Mbappe scored 9 goals and 6 assists in the qualifying, by the way. So
that's worryingly high.
Boringly high. Very scary to go without him.
Yeah, but Ralph Rangnick, I'm sure he'll figure something out.
Yeah. So, are we done?
Yeah, I mean that's easy. We don't need to even discuss captaincy. You got 4 attempts to mess this up, so
5 if you have Germany on the first day as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's us. We'll be back for match day 2, I'm sure, depending on our level of enthusiasm as after our 5 captaincy blanks.
Right. In the meantime, I don't know. Get green arrows after the 5th day, hopefully.